Hey guys, Jarek and Komodo here, and we got some Halo 5 Big Team Battle. So this just got updated yesterday. There is now Big Team Battle in Halo 5. It is ranked, so if you don't like ranked stuff, you might be a little bit disappointed that here that Big Team Battle is ranked. My biggest complaint, honestly, about Big Team Battle is that there's objectives in this playlist. This drives me insane. Halo has always done this, so I don't know what I was expecting, but in my mind, it makes more sense to put the objectives in the objective game mode, you know, when people actually want to play objectives. Because in my experience, when something like Big Team Battle, Capture the Flag on Recurve shows up, people leave immediately. Because they don't want to play Capture the Flag. They're here for Team Slayer. You know, that's all I want to play personally, too. So if I wanted objectives, I would join the objective playlist, where I think the Big Team Battle objective thing should be. But hey, Big Team Battle's here. I'm very, very happy about this. Big Team Battle is a lot of fun. I don't know how much you played it.
Very little, considering the fact that I usually died fairly quickly playing Halo. Big Team Battle would only exacerbate that.
See, you would think, but I guess this kind of depends on your playstyle. When it comes to regular Slayer on the smaller maps and stuff like that, my mindset gets kind of broken. Because the way you're supposed to play is you have power positions, where you can access the power weapon, and then have good control over the map with good sight lines, and generally you're at a higher elevation to where it's more difficult for them to shoot back at you. So these are very important. My logic... Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
We have Komodo over here, falling asleep in his chair.
Look, I work overnight, okay? Piss off.
He also, I don't know, he had a little bit to drink. He didn't have that much to drink, though.
I had a pint. I hadn't eaten anything at that point, but if I eat, or if I don't eat and I drink, especially beer, I have to keep eating or else I get sleepy very easily.
The way... This is the fastest way to gain weight.
I don't just fall asleep. I can't fall asleep after eating, or actually, no, I can totally fall asleep after drinking. Back to the point!
What was it? Right, no, power positions. Okay, so for regular Slayer, power positions are very important. It gives you good control over power weapons, it gives you good control over the map. But for Big Team Battle, I mean, this is important in a way, but it's much less important. And it works with my playstyle and thought process so much more, because it doesn't require, but it promotes you moving throughout the map more than, well, camping. And that's how I've always seen it with Halo. Getting better weapons than the other team, and then just camping. Which, in my mind, I've never really seen a lot of skill involving that. I always thought it was cheap, so I tried not to do it. But, you know, that's the scrub mindset, let's be honest. That's the mindset of, you're not adapting the way to win. And you need to play like you need to win. So, I've just kind of given up and said, alright, let's... You know, a long time ago I gave up and said, alright, I'm going to take control of the power positions. I'm gonna play the way you're supposed to win at Halo. But, I mean, most of the time I play things like Battlefield, stuff like this, where it's such a vastly different game than Halo, and requires so many different things. But yeah, that's why I like Big Team Battle. You can go throughout, wherever you want to throughout the map, there's a lot more safe locations, gives you a better opportunity to flank people and get behind them and outsmart them, rather than outshoot them or have a better weapon than them. Although there's a lot of vehicles, which I don't know how you feel about vehicles.
Eh?
Meh.
There's really none of them that stick out in my mind as, oh my god, I love this vehicle.
See, for me, it wasn't like, I love this vehicle. It was always like, I hate fighting against this.
Wait.
The brute chopper.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Also, this gun goose, holy crap, this thing is so deadly.
I've been hearing friends talk about the gun goose. I had no idea what a gun goose was until just now.
Yeah, that thing kills you so fast.
But no, it was only in Reach. It was a Covenant vehicle. It was like a mini Wraith.
Spectre?
Yes. No.
That was more the Warthog Covenant equivalent.
That thing was like a troop transport. It had like actually, no, yeah, you're right. It was like, no, it was called like a. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it, and somebody's gonna say it in the comments, I guarantee.
I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah, I've never really been a vehicle person. That's always been the thing that kills me about Battlefield more than anything else, is that I don't want to fight against vehicles. And I don't really find it particularly fun to use them either, really. I like infantry. I mean, that's really why I like Battlefield 3. It allows you to play infantry quite well, and still have a way to fight back against the vehicles, whereas Battlefield 4's maps, they're so open.
You know, I realized something. There was only one reason I played Halo. Forge.
Yeah.
That's all I ever really did.
Forge will be added back into Halo 5. It launched without it. It launched without a lot of stuff that just should have been in the game, which is kind of annoying. At least they'll be added, but I just want...
Revenant. It was the Revenant.
That was loud.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was what it was. I knew what you were talking about, though. But yeah, it is kind of annoying that it released without, like, vast majority of the stuff it should have. It came, like, so bare bones as far as playlists go. I mean, these are all the playlists the game's launched with. Warzone, Warzone Assault, that's it for the casual stuff. And then for everything ranked, it was the Team Objective, Team Slayer, Free-for-all, SWAT, and Breakout. And now they've added in Big Team Battle a few weeks after the game came out. Where's Team Action Sack? Where's Griffball? Where's all this other stuff? Like, there's so much missing that has been in every other Halo game that people loved. I mean, I'm glad at least that there's SWAT, because that's always been, like, my favorite thing, and that just, again, it's much less about power. It's much less about power positions and more about moving throughout the map and getting the flank on someone, because one shot dead, if your back's facing someone, you can't turn and kill them. Like, it's not going to happen. Simply not going to happen. So, unless they're really bad. So yeah, SWAT's always worked better in my mindset. But yeah, it is kind of annoying, but I guess we're going to get the stuff as the game goes along. I should probably stop complaining about it. It's lame, but what we got in the game is fantastic so far. Aside from the aiming, which is still not fixed. They did patch it because certain controllers weren't working with the game properly. Like the dead zones were exaggerated, and if they tried to move diagonally, it would be like a quarter of the speed as the regular aiming.
No.
So that was a specific controller issue, and that has been fixed. But there's still acceleration, and I'm going to talk about this, okay? I need to rant about this. You would already know why this is a bad idea, playing on PC.
Yes.
So I'm going to use that as an example. This game has a lot of acceleration, and Halo games have in the past, and the way they did it was fine. But let me explain what acceleration is first, and I'll explain it, say, in the PC environment. So, what mouse acceleration is, say you take your mouse and you drag it across the screen. Theoretically, your mouse should have a smooth, slow process across the screen, and that correlates with the speed of how much you moved your arm or your hand with the mouse. But mouse acceleration, it's made so you don't have to move your hand as far. If it determines that you've moved your hand a certain distance, it will kind of speed up the movement of the mouse so that you don't have to move that much, and it just makes it easier to click on the desktop and stuff like that. But as far as games go, this is terrible. This is horrible, and you don't want this, because it means that you cannot get any form of muscle memory. It means that your aim is going to a degree that you can't control, be random, because mouse acceleration kicked in. So now it's moving faster than what you've actually moved your hand. Well, this is essentially what Halo 5 does, but in the most asinine way I have ever seen. So, in previous Halo games, the way the acceleration worked is that if let's say you try to turn around, do a 180, you'd hold left on your analog stick, you would start turning for like a second or so, and then it would speed up after that. But in Halo 5, no, that's not what Halo 5 does. In Halo 5, it kind of hits the spot in your analog stick, where, say you move your analog stick up to about 80%, and your turn speed's kind of slow, but then once you get past that 80% or 80 degree, suddenly you're just flying. So suddenly your aim goes from being somewhat slow to just amazingly fast, and you'll see it occasionally, where I'll be trying to aim. Yeah, that guy was pretty oblivious. I didn't even need to use the plasma pistol on him. But you'll see it occasionally in this video where I'll be aiming at someone, and then it looks really slippery, my aim's just left and right and all over the place. That's because of the acceleration. It drives me insane. I can't consistently aim like this. So, and people have actually tried to argue saying this is a good thing. No, never a good thing. You cannot make that argument. This isn't even an opinion thing. This is just annoying. To make matters worse, this acceleration only happens horizontally. Only horizontally. So, if you hold left and up a little bit diagonally, the acceleration doesn't kick in.
I vaguely remember, or rather, experienced how fun it is when you let me play this. I can't remember exactly what you were showing me, but I think the best way to describe it is it feels like you're on a slope that at some point, and you don't realize when it is, but it feels like you're on a slope that's oiled.
Yeah.
And you step on that spot and suddenly you're going light speed.
And the easiest way to see this, of course, like I said, is to just take your stick, take your analog stick, and slowly move it to the left, and you'll get to that breaking point where suddenly you're flying. There's actually a really good video about this. I'll put it in the link I'll put a link to it in the video information that shows this, and it shows him holding the controller and shows the screen behind him, so you can actually see it. So, yeah, really, really annoying. I don't like it in any way whatsoever. Another easy way to see this, and there's other annoying things about the aiming in Halo 5. The vertical aiming is slower than horizontal, and along with the acceleration, this causes really, really weird things. So if you try to go into an empty game, a custom game in Halo 5, and just try to move your analog stick in a circle, your aim won't go in a circle. It'll go in a rectangular fashion. Even though clearly you're pushing it in a circle. I know why he's laughing. So we have a British friend that can't really say the word circle. It always ends up coming out as circle. Hi, Drake.
Oh my god, and when he says
I'm sorry,
H,
Drake.
When he says H, oh my god, it's heavenly.
That's
okay.
That's just a British thing. Americans will always give British people shit about saying H, because it's always H.
It's an Aussie thing to have an Australian friend.
It's pretty much everyone that's not America, really.
Oh god, blasphemy.
What?
The farther away they are, look at that. It's like
yeah. Okay, so
the last time I saw a character in a game animated like that, I was playing friggin' Rogue Squadron on the the N64.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about this. I didn't notice this until someone pointed it out. I think I pointed it out to you, actually. Did I? Or did you just see this on your own?
This is the first time I've seen this.
Okay, so
I've actually got some complaints about it for other games, but I think I'll save that for my own video.
But this is worse than anything I've ever seen. So
it's not as funny as what I saw in Fallout 4, though.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment, because that game is expected to be broken. The animations in this game, the further they are away, the worse they look. Someone pointed this out to me, and I can't unsee it. It literally looks like 2D sprites from Doom. Seriously. Like, I'm not kidding. It looks that bad. The frame rate, the animations, everything is that bad.
Maybe this is why the levels weren't so big.
Not really. Because Big Team Battle levels are... Which, by the way, these are all made in Forge, and at first when I heard that, I was kind of disappointed, but then I played it, and I'm like, for Forge maps, these actually don't look that bad, so, I mean, it would be better if they weren't all forged, but, whatever. But,
Aw.
yeah, I totally miscalculated how slow that moves. But yeah, look at the animations. The easiest way to see this is if you play Warzone, right at the beginning, watch your teammates run away. They seriously do look like the fake 3D, 2D sprites that early shooters had. Like, that is a perfect analogy, because that's exactly what it looks like. It's actually pretty hilarious. I don't know if you can see it here. I guarantee you'll see it at some point in the video.
That moment when I freaked out about it was a perfect example of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I never told you about it, apparently, and you can still see it and notice it.
I've seen it in a lot of games, and it pisses me off.
But here, it's far worse than this one. I'm actually kind of indifferent about it, because they've done a bunch of different janky things to make this game run at 1080p and 60 FPS. Well, I should say they've done a bunch of janky things to ensure it runs at 60 FPS, which means occasionally in the single player making it go a little bit below 1080, which I will take over the frame rate suddenly dropping to like 20 FPS. Because playing Halo 4, I mean, you know how bad that game lagged occasionally. Especially in the multiplayer, like on, say, Valhalla, on that map. I've had situations where the frame rate went down to about 15 to 20. It was just horrible how that ended up, so, ugh. But yeah, I can say, at least, despite the fact that the animations could look really bad, the game stays at a consistent frame rate, so I can't complain too much. I know a lot of people have been getting really mad about it. But no, 60. We always need 60 FPS. Someone has said every other Halo game runs at 30. Why do we need 60? I'm like, because once you go 60, you can't go back. You can't. After the Master Chief Collection, that is so much better playing Halo 3 at 60 FPS than on the 360. Oh, this person. So, okay, so even if you don't hit someone with that, it still pushes you forward a decent amount of ways. So if you're trying to catch up to someone, do use a shoulder bash, but do note that it is kind of loud and they might turn around. But if you time it right, they won't have chances to, which is nice. But yeah, it's I've been having fun. I've been having fun with Big Team Battle. As I said before, I don't want to say I prefer it over regular Slayer, but I'm enjoying it. Hey, we still got some of the game left. I'm going to answer some of the comments. This one, I'm not even going to say the name. It's got the booty face.
I still don't know what that is.
I'll link it to you later. It's 2015. Do you still recommend this game? I played the first 2 Rainbow Sixes, and Vegas is 100% different than the ones I've played. I've never gave attention to those newer Rainbow Six games, but I'm considering playing it. Well, the first thing I should say is that even for the time that Rainbow... And we're talking about Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 here. Even for the time as the one Rainbow Six came out, it looked like asshole. Seriously, it is the jankiest, shittiest looking game that's kind of glitchy and buggy with so many audio glitches, like the machine gun glitch you get in multiplayer where you'll be hearing a terrorist machine gun and terrorist on, and it won't stop until the game ends. You'll get glitches like that. Stuff like that happens to the game is really buggy. I don't even know how it ended up being like this. But it's one of the goddamn best games I've ever played in my life. I will say this, Vegas 1 is definitely my favorite Rainbow Six game. Easily. And I understand that it's quite a bit different than the early Rainbow Six games, but honestly, it is my favorite Rainbow Six game. I much prefer the layout of Vegas 1 and 2. It kind of brings it up to the way shooters sort of are now without the full-on spunk gargle wee wee, and you still die quickly. And I didn't mean to do an assassination here, damn it. So, you know, it still works the same way where if you hold the melee button down, you do an assassination, but if you just tap it, you only hit them in the back. I feel like you don't need to hold it down very long, because I felt like I barely pressed the bumper and it freaking did an assassination, which was really angering because I could have got the other person too.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely play Vegas. In my opinion, it is the best in the franchise. I love it. It is very, very different than what we're seeing in Rainbow Six Siege. I'm kind of annoyed that we're not getting a real sequel to Vegas. I mean, Vegas 2 ended the Vegas thing, but I would like to see another game like Vegas. You know, with the cover system and you dying very quickly. Because despite the fact that Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 did a lot of things that were common, and there's another example with the animations. But despite the fact that Rainbow Six Vegas did a lot of things that were common in a lot of shooters, it felt very unique. I'm sure you can say that. It felt odd in its own way. And in a good way.
I will agree with what you said about it earlier, how it felt different from the other games. And that's about all I can really say in relation to what you were just talking about. Because I remember way back when playing the first Rainbow Six on the N64. I actually really liked it because it was like you had to rely on your squad mates and it was very tactical and you had to pay attention to what you were doing and plan it out accordingly.
Yeah, it definitely kind of depends on who you are. Me as a person, I really don't give a shit about that kind of stuff.
Wait, hold on, I'm not done. Vegas? What the fuck are tactics?
Well, tactics are still very important when it comes to Vegas, but it's all...
Not in the single player.
Well, it still is, but...
What is that?
Oh, those are the Promethean grenades.
Oh.
They will kill you instantly if you walk through them. It's actually kind of annoying.
Okay.
But tactics, in a way, are still very important, but much more in a solo way. It's... If you like shooters more than, like, say, your real-time strategies or stuff like that, you'll prefer Vegas. But if you prefer things where you gotta plan stuff out beforehand, and you like doing micromanaging and all this stuff, you'll prefer the older Rainbow Six games. Which is why I prefer Vegas, because I don't like micromanaging. I just want to play the game and rely on my own skill.
You say micromanaging, like you have to... I hear micromanaging, and I can't help but think, like RTSs, but honestly, like, when it came to tactics and, like, the earlier Vegas... I almost said Vegas.
I almost got hit with this tank shot. Like, this was so close. Nope, I'm getting out of here.
The earlier Rainbow Six games, like, I remember sending, like, teammates to, you know, a door that led into a room, then I went into the other, and I had them open the door, and then I went in, and of course, you know, they're distracted by one or the other, and you just take down everybody without a single person in the room getting hurt. And it's a thing of beauty where things line up and fall into place, and it feels good. Whereas, honestly, I forgot half the commands for any of the shit that you had your squad mates do in Vegas.
I would have been happier if I just didn't even have to deal with the squad mates, to be entirely honest. Like, that's also kind of one of the things where I want to do solo stuff, really. Like, I want to rely on me, myself. Unless I have a team of actual people I can rely on, you know, co-op wise and stuff like that. I don't really generally like having squads around me. Like, it didn't really annoy me in Rainbow Six, but I ended up pretty much doing everything myself anyway, and only using them for, like, a distraction to open a door somewhere else so they weren't looking at me so I could shoot them. You still had to rely on your teammates in a way, but it was more of, like, you directly controlled them instead of telling them, like, direct routes as to what doors to go through and getting a top-down map and planning things out, like in, say, early Ghost Recon games, stuff like that. So it's just very, very different, and different in a way that I prefer. So, I mean, again, it really depends on the person. And I'm just not one of those people. I just want a shooter, really. I'm kind of in this in-between thing where I like shooters that punish you really hard. That you die quickly, but you can also kill other people super quick. Say something like Red Orchestra 2. Which I'm sure you will agree, that's not something that's like, oh, this is like Call of Duty, you take no skill, it's all twitch shotting. Yeah, no, you try to do that shit in Red Orchestra, you're dying. Like, that's not gonna work. And the same thing applies to Rainbow Six Vegas. Sure, it has that element to a certain point, but if someone's playing smart and using cover to their advantage and actually taking control of the map and doing stuff like that, you're not going to win.
Bullshit. Those friggin' terrorists can shoot you
okay,
through walls.
That's different. I'm talking human against human. The terrorists, it's almost fun trying to overcome the amount of sniper shotgun bullshit. They're all SPAS 12 ninjas. Like,
yeah, they are. They can take you
they'll
out
go
from
around
clear across the map.
They'll also go around the entire map just to show up behind you and not make a noise or say anything until you look at them. Then they kill you. They scared the shit out of me. That's the scariest game I've ever played in my life.
That reminds me of friggin' Dead Space.
Anyway, there's been some big team battle in Halo 5. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.